The biggest difference between Wales and Sussexes, sinister like Doria, craven like Meghan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
I hope that you all are having a lovely weekend. I know I certainly am, and I wanted to bring out some images to compare the two couples, William and Catherine, with Harry and Meghan. Many of you have told me that there is no comparison between these two couples. They're on completely different levels, and now they're also living their lives in incredibly different ways. And this is an opinion I happen to agree with, but to some degree, we've got to admit that they were at one point equally influential couples. But like everybody, William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan do have their true characteristics, the things that make them who they are, and it's not like all four were raised the same. All of this has influenced them to become pretty different people. We see the Wales couple being extremely happy with each other and with their lives, but Meghan and Harry are still desperately chasing after frivolous things for themselves. We get to see William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales, with their three beautiful children, playing, laughing, really enjoying themselves. And then, in America, we get to see a really unhappy man with his horrible, evil wife, and we don't get to see photos of their invisible children. In fact, we don't even really see any signs that these invisible children really live in Montecito with their alleged parents. Mostly we get to see photos of the latest, very expensive, and ill-fitting clothing that Meghan has bought for herself. Because the only things in life that Meghan really cares about are getting fame and money for herself. She doesn't care about how superficial she is. It's clear the children are either with their biological parents or they simply do not exist. And the proof of that is that Meghan and Harry are always posting photos of child models from magazines. They can't even post any photos of their real kids because they don't have them. Another thing is that Catherine came from a very different family than William and Harry did. Now, Catherine was raised with a brother and sister, and their family was incredibly close. They lived in a nice area, they had their own successful business, and the kids did go to good schools. We get to see Catherine's sister and her parents being a part of the family. But what about Meghan's family? Well, it seems like only Doria has been accepted by her. Meghan's parents got a divorce when she was 6 years old, although both of them raised her for a few years, and eventually her mother left. Her mother abandoned her. Apparently she cared more about her career. So then after that, she lived with her father, and he paid for all of her schooling, and it seems like he completely spoiled her rotten. Catherine was raised in a very close-knit, upper-middle-class household. Her parents had been married for such a long time. They worked their butts off, and they gave a private education to their children. As adults, they're still close, and they're a very supportive family. They are there for each other. They're there for not only Catherine and William, but also for Pippa and James and their spouses and kids, too. And you can tell that Catherine's family was incredibly close because of the way that William and Catherine are raising their kids. George is not at boarding school already at 8 years old like his father was. William and Catherine are trying to provide their children with as normal a life as possible. So they take them out to eat at burger places, they go shopping in the supermarket, they live a pretty ordinary life, all things considered. There was one time when Charlotte was a toddler and they needed to make an unexpected stop at a pub so that she could use the bathroom. Now, security went in first to make sure that it was okay. They asked if it was okay for her to use the toilet. And the children go to school, they socialize with their friends and with their cousins and extended family on both sides of the family. Meghan, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky to come from a family like that. She grew up in a broken home. Her father had a few different relationships, and she's got half-siblings a lot older than her that supposedly she didn't have a real relationship with. Now, her mother was in prison for some of her childhood. We don't know how much exactly. Meghan's father was pretty successful. He worked as a lighting director on TV sets in Hollywood, and she spent time on film sets since she was a child. He was also able to pay to put her through school and university. As adults, Meghan and her siblings have not been so successful in their relationships. All of them have been married more than once, and it doesn't seem like any of them really support each other. This broken home and upbringing is obvious as an adult. Meghan has ghosted or alienated basically all of her extended family. She's only got contact with her mother at this point. And as if that wasn't bad enough, since Meghan married Harry, she's also gotten him to destroy basically all the relationships with his family. If they are real, those kids are growing up completely isolated. They are never seen out and about in public, and people wonder if they really exist, of course. And if they do, it doesn't seem like they're living together in their Montecito home. When Her Late Majesty the Queen passed away a year ago, Harry and Meghan were in the UK, and they had only planned to be there for less than a week originally. They ended up staying over a month, and they didn't even go back home to see their kids. They didn't bother having Doria bring the kids over to the UK. And that tells us that they are not really involved. They're not loving, hands-on parents with a close relationship with those kids. What parents would be willing to stay so far away from their kids for such an unexpected and extended amount of time when they have the means and the opportunity to be together? That would not have been so complicated to arrange if the children were real. Childhood, upbringing, and family values. These are some big reasons why Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle have the relationships they do or do not have with their families, and also with their in-laws. I'm sure Meghan is incredibly jealous of the stability of William and Catherine's relationship and family life. I mean, her own life is completely unhinged and unstable. But then again, I'm not sure she really cares about that because she is so focused on herself and her future. And those invisible kids, if they're real, simply don't factor into the equation. She is a really pathetic individual. She's leading a lonely life. She has no real friends. She has no family. She's a woman all by herself in her reducing destiny. And this is all her fault. Maybe one day we'll come to understand things in a different way. Maybe there's some piece of this puzzle that we're missing, but I kind of doubt it. Okay, so judging by your perspectives that we just talked about, and also what you feel deep inside your heart, do you believe that this is a mature woman with class? And she's also planning to write another book to try to destroy the royal family. I'm sure the late Queen was relieved when they finally left the UK. And in the end, Meghan and Harry only ended up screwing themselves because they got so much sympathy for the royal family. People came to understand what greedy gutter snipes Harry and Meghan really are. Now, a book by Meghan is only going to do the same and a lot more. Meghan has no credibility left with anybody. I don't know that she ever did, but she certainly doesn't now. So she can write as much as she wants. The popularity of the royal family is only going to soar. I think a book by Meghan is going to be the final nail in her coffin. Every time she opens her mouth to claim some fame, she just tells more lies, lies that are easy to disprove. She is playing a game that she cannot win, but obviously she's not intelligent enough to realize that. Instead, she has managed to lose any respect anybody once had for her, even within the US. Meghan and Harry have shown such contempt and disregard for absolutely everybody, and it looks like it's only getting worse. If Meghan is intelligent at all, she's gonna cry stop, and she's gonna admit all the lies about the invisible children, and she'll just find some way to go about her own business without bothering anybody, and understand that regarding the royal family, she is completely irrelevant. See, publishing a book of lies is going to officially be the end for anything Meghan would want to do. This is going to make her an absolute joke, and no business is going to want to get involved with her. Without the recognition, what on earth is she going to do? This book is going to blow up in her face. She just doesn't get it. The world is finished with this nasty, vindictive woman. We don't want to hear any more lies, any more accusations coming from her. Who would want to read her tell-all book? She doesn't have to explain herself. We already know she's a liar, so why would the book be any different? Meghan is wasting her time spouting her truth to anybody who will listen. She's pretty good at actually hiding the real truth, and she's been doing that for the last 5 years at least. And I don't trust her one bit because she is not a real person. She has just kept the real truth hidden away from everybody by telling so many lies, thinking that nobody's going to notice. I think the day they finally got her out of the UK, Meghan's life when it came to the royal family was done. And what is Meghan going to put in her stupid memoir? It's just going to be more hateful lies about the royal family. Meghan has not done anything meaningful or successful since she left. The only success she can claim is making herself look petty and vindictive and jealous and mean. I am sure that memoir is going to have the same lasting impression. So I hope she writes it, and I hope the royal family takes appropriate action to make sure that she doesn't have a royal title anymore. I have heard multiple times, oh, the titles can't be removed easily. Well, I think anything can be done if enough people want it done. Let's not forget the late Queen changed the law on succession so that gender was not taken into account. I believe that if the king really wants to, he can do something to make those idiots lose their titles. And you, what do you think about Meghan? Let us know below in the comments, and please remember to like and share my video with your friends and relatives who would enjoy it too.
Please don't forget to subscribe to our The King YouTube channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Bye. I love you all.